Section 4.3 is about solving absolute value equations and inequalities. Here's a graph of y equals absolute value of x. It's a V shape on the coordinate axes. To solve absolute value of x equals k, well, that depends. If k is positive, as it is here, those two graphs meet at 2 points, when x is k and when x is minus k. Absolute value of x equals k means x is k or minus k. If k is 0, that's this line here, and it meets the absolute value at just the 1 point, 0. So absolute value of x equals 0 means that x equals 0, and that's that. If k is less than 0.
Are you recording?
I believe I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm recording. Yeah. Anyhow, so if k is less than 0, then the absolute value graph and the y equals k graph, they don't meet at all. Absolute value of x equals k has no solution. Absolute values are always greater than or equal to 0, so we can't have it, it'd be negative. Now, let's talk about inequalities. Absolute value of x greater than k. All right, so let's say if k is positive. Greater than k, well, that's this part of the line or this part of the line. It's absolute value of x greater than k is basically all the points out beyond plus or minus k. So it's less than negative k or bigger than positive k. Absolute value of x less than k is this part of the line where the x equals absolute value. The absolute value graph is less than the y equals k graph. So it's the values of x between here and here, between minus k and k. In other words, if x is within k units of 0, then x is between plus and minus k like this. Now, if k is negative, then absolute value of x is greater than k for all x, and absolute cat tender. Absolute value of x less than k for no x. All right, where are we? 52. All right, so absolute of x equals 23 for what x? Minus 23 or plus 23. Absolute value of x minus 3 minus a 19 equals 3. To solve that, first we transpose the 19 by adding it to both sides. So absolute value of x minus 3 is 3 plus 19. Absolute value of x minus 3 is 22. So, okay, this quantity has absolute value 22. So x minus 3 is plus or minus 22. Next step is to add 3 to both sides. Get x equals 3 plus or minus 22. This symbol here means plus or minus. 3 minus 22 is negative 19. 3 plus 22 is 25. So x is 19 or x equals 25. Either of these ways of phrasing it is the way of putting the solution. Absolute value of x is less than 4. In other words, x is within 4 units of 0. So x is between negative 4 and 4, like this. Here, absolute value of x plus 9 is less than or equal to 12. So this x plus 9 is within 12 units of 0. So negative 12 is less than or equal to x plus 9 is less than or equal to 12. To isolate x, we subtract 9 from all 3 parts. Get negative 12 minus 9 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 12 minus 9. So negative 21 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 3. X is between negative 21 and 3. This is the graph, this interval. Closed interval because it's less than or equals. Absolute value, negative 14 equals absolute value of x minus 3. This has no solution because an absolute value is never negative. Okay, 97A and B are what the book calls lookalike problems because they're very similar but different kinds of answers. You have 0.9 minus 0.3x equals 8.4. Well, there's no absolute value sign, so we'll just get a single answer. We'll transpose the 0.9 to the right by subtracting it from both sides. So negative 0.3x equals 8.4 minus 0.9. So then negative 0.3x equals 7.5. Divide both sides by negative 0.3. Get x equals 7.5 over negative 0.3. So x equals, after some work, negative 25. This is a solution to this. Here, somewhat different, we put an absolute value sign around 0.9 minus 0.3x. All right, so the absolute value is 8.4. So this thing here is plus or minus 8.4. All right, as before, we'll subtract 0.9 from both sides. Get negative 0.3x is plus or minus 8.4 minus 0.9. Then to isolate x, we divide by negative 0.3. Get x equals plus or minus 8.4 minus 0.9 over minus 0.3. Now, if you have minus 8.4 minus 0.9 over minus 0.3, you get 31. If you get plus 8.4 minus 0.9 over negative 0.3, you get negative 25. Here are the solutions. 103 says that a certain temperature is within 8 degrees of 78 degrees. So absolute value of T minus 78 is less than or equal to 8. Therefore, T minus 78 is between plus and minus 8 for this double inequality. Add 78 to both sides. Get 78 minus 8 less than or equal to T is less than or equal to 78 plus 8. So T is between 70 degrees and 86 degrees. I do believe that's it for here.